The watts number is A723. It's $2.33. Its Home Depot number is 551-889. 889. And the last piece on the newer setup that I'm using is a 1/4 inch pipe thread to 1/4 inch barb fitting. And it is, let's see, 1/4. It's a watts fitting number of A-197. It's $2.04. Its Home Depot number is 545048. All you really do is assemble this. The only thing that you would have to do, I'm not sure if it's going to show up, but you thread the inside of that fitting. Now, a standard MIG tip, like that, is, well, I don't have it out, but it's an M6-1 pitch thread. It's a metric thread. You can get those taps. Harbor Freight is good for them. They have all kinds of different taps, but all you need is, I know I have my tap and die set around here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly where. It's probably in the other part where I'm working, but it's an M6-1. And when you thread it, this now threads very nicely into there, making a nice little working tip. So with it fully assembled, and use Teflon tape on this whole thing, you do that, you do that, do that, and that's about it. The only other thing that you have to do, which doesn't require tools, is to get some of this fine bronze wool. McMaster-Carr carries it. They carry it in smaller batches than this. I got a big batch thinking I was going to use it. I haven't used a whole lot of it. It is what it is. I don't remember the exact cost of it. It's like $5 to $7 for a 1 pound bag or something. It's not that bad. And what you do is you fill the body, that space, with that fine bronze wool. And there's other things. Install guys went through a whole series of flash arresters. I like the bronze wool for this application because it's not very flow restrictive. In other words, when you have it assembled and you turn your cell on, let's say you get I don't know, 1 psi on the output of your cell, that pressure inside the body keeps, obviously, the HHO moving out, which keeps you from having a flashback. If the pressure between this point and this point gets too low, the flame will suck back up inside, and that's when you have a flashback. The fine bronze wool keeps the pressure up across the entire body to the point where a flashback is not very likely. I still advise the use of flash ports on everything. Fine bronze wool, and if you have a system that is powerful enough to push past a highly restrictive flashback arrestor or flash arrestor, go ahead and put it in line 2. But I've used these empty with no fine bronze wool, and so long as you keep the pressures up and don't have the torch burning when you turn the cells off, and therefore the pressure drops in here to the point where atmospheric pressure is greater than this pressure, the flame will not back up. It's actually, when I was at Scarecrow's, we were running torches in the neighborhood of 5 to 7 psi. Again, don't advise that. You guys are going to do what you're going to do. But if you do have a flashback at 5 to 7 psi, you'd better be prepared to handle that with the appropriate safety equipment. If you're not, if you didn't build your equipment strong enough, you will have a rupture. You will have the possibility of parts flying. And we don't like to hear about that. This is a self-regulating industry as of yet. We'd like to see it stay that way. The use of Schedule 80 PVC seems to work pretty well. ABS works pretty well, but always remember, use flash ports, test flash ports before use. Certify not only that the person making it, but that yourself, you've seen that it functions and functions repeatedly and accurately and safely. It's still a lot of burden on us individuals to make sure the equipment that we use is rated for what we're using it for. So that's the basics of a torch. I mean, you're talking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces, all available from Home Depot. The fine bronze wool you can get online from McMaster Carr. The pieces where they're located at Home Depot. The MIG tips are over in the welding section, in the tool section. The ball valve is over in the air compressor section, in the tool section. The rest of it's in the brass section of your plumbing section. Other than that, it's a great little torch. I'm proud of it. It does well. As far as tip sizes, I would say 1 liter to 1.5 liters minimum for a .025 tip. I would say 1.5 to 2 minimum for a .35 or .035, excuse me. A .045 and greater. 0.045, I wouldn't go anything less than 2.5 liters per minute, and greater than that you'll have to test and do it yourself. The purpose of that is, with those outputs, that hole will build enough back pressure to make the torch operate safely, or relatively safely, so long as you don't do something to change that. Button it out on the end, not always a good idea. I like to moisten my bronze wool before each use. Usually what I'll do is I'll take a few drops of water, drop it in this end, turn the system on, hang it upside down, and let any excess water get blown off. So now the surface of the bronze wool is nice and moist, so when the flashback does come in, the heat is absorbed by the higher surface area of the fine bronze wool, and it squelches the flame. The total cost, that'd be a good thing to cover. The subtotal before tax is about $31.20. The total after tax is about $33.70. Now you can kind of understand why I don't feel right charging somebody. I mean, if I spend half an hour, doesn't really take half an hour, but between packaging and everything like that, I'd probably have to charge somewhere near $50 for this thing. You can buy a tap for much less than $20, and you can build them all day long for 33 bucks. Out the door, you just assemble it. Use Teflon tape so it doesn't leak. Something so simple that is easily available, I really wouldn't feel right charging people for it. If people insist that I build it for them, I guess I can go to Home Depot, buy the parts, and sell them to you, but I don't believe in markup over markup. It's just not right. So, that's it. Hope you guys build some. They're great fun. You'll look at tools that you would never think of harming and want to cut them in half, because you can, for no other reason. Yeah, happy HHOing. Hope you guys have some fun with it, and that's the torch vid. I'll give you some ultra close-ups. You can see every piece in there. And you probably won't be able to hear me because of the airplane. So, I'll talk to you all later.